Hello everyone, and welcome to DrakeMakes. I'm doing some cinematic work and I need an office scene. Last week I figured out how to use virtual cameras, so this week I'm going to try and build a space roughly to the size of my room to get some shots in for a found footage type cinematic. The scene we're going to complete today is going to involve a character in an office who finds a portal outside of reality into my own version of a liminal space. So let's get started. Starting in the third-person template project, just because it's what I'm familiar with, I cleared out the sample geometry and used some door frames as reference to measure out the width of the space. I didn't take any actual measurements, I just looked at my real door frame and eyeballed the distance. This ended up working out really well though, and turns out my workspace is roughly 4 doors wide. I usually work on larger levels and scenes, but since this space is so small, I'm able to condense the amount of work I'd put into a larger level into the finer details. I spent a whole hour arranging trash on this desk, using my real-life messiness as reference. I made use of the following asset packs for this scene. Most often used was these apartment tech props, along with this free furniture pack, the modular industrial area, and the free for the month Scan Labs Interior Volume 1. This desk asset is almost exactly the shape of my desk in real life, so it was easy to imagine how the space would naturally become used and messy. There is a vague method to the madness when cluttering up a desk like this. You want to balance the areas that are visually dense and chaotic, and then give it breaks in areas that are clean, so that way your eye can still move through the desk and understand what's going on. The computer screens are really helpful for this because the eye is very quickly drawn to them. For some reason, I was totally working backwards, starting with the furniture and details and adding the walls in later. Okay, let's actually make it a room now. To add the walls, I used Unreal Engine's modeling tools and poly-edit to stretch faces to fit the edge of the room. It's basically a square, so this isn't too complicated. Again, this is all using my real space as reference, so once I set up the virtual camera, I'll be able to get shots like an actual movie set. I then kept adding furniture to fill out the space, trying to ensure similar levels of detail across the whole scene. Here I was deviating from the actual layout of my room, but this is for the plans of the cinematic. Basically, any flat surface I tried to make look as used or lived in as possible. I kind of shot myself in the foot putting so much detail into the desk at first, because then it held the rest of the room to a standard. Oftentimes, I'd have to save and reload the project. When using a bunch of different high-quality assets like this, sometimes your texture streaming budget will just explode, resulting in these glitched rainbow textures. I found restarting the engine almost always solves this, although it is important to try and optimize your scene. Here I use the modeling tools to quickly seal off the room, and at this point it was starting to feel like an actual space. I used some Megascan's textures for the ceiling tiles, carpet, and stucco walls. To tie these elements together, I add in some trim assets so that way there aren't such blaring hard edges. By enabling use temperature under the light source, I'm able to give the light more of a warm orange glow. The entrance to the liminal space in the cinematic will be a solid wall in which our main character will run through at full speed and glitch into a different reality. I've placed a sticky note there to mark where the interdimensional entryway is hidden. To further emphasize the point, I found some graffiti decals which I applied to the walls. I think this counts as environmental storytelling. I then threw in a light fixture and the first room is done. Here's some artsy panning shots. But before we can shoot our scene, we need to make the actual Backrooms type situation our character falls into. I didn't want to just make more typical infinite yellow backrooms though, so I'm putting my own spin on things and doing some world building behind the scenes. Setting up on the other side of the hall, I put together some ornate looking hallways. I want there to be a stark contrast between the two environments, both in color scheme and style. While the apartment or office is cluttered and asymmetrical, the halls are sophisticated and uniform, inspired by 1920s high-class stylings and antique architecture, while still maintaining the empty liminal space feeling. These halls are made almost entirely out of Megascan's assets, along with some free-to-use lamp models I found on TurboSquid. I just dropped a point light in the center of the lamps, and that's all I did for the lighting setup. For the carpets of the halls, I made a material instance of the carpet I'd already downloaded. Under this instance, I am able to adjust the colors into a deep red. With just a few more finishing touches to seal everything off, our scene is complete. I set up a virtual camera for the handheld look and put together a quick cinematic. I hope you enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like if you want to see an entire found footage cinematic. I've got a lot of ideas I'd love to explore in the genre. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button to see more creative content coming soon.